Hello, I'm Avis Kalfsbeck, and this is the Peace is Here podcast. Welcome to Peacewarts, School of Peacecraft and Inquiry, where we practice the skills of peace through short daily classes. We take the peace work seriously, but not ourselves. If you're joining us mid-school year, you're not late. Orientation begins at episode 198. Welcome back to Understars 101, Peace Scholars. We're still in the tower, but today the lights are dimmed. We're looking at a single photograph that changed the human psyche forever. Astronaut Edgar Mitchell said, "You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world, and a compulsion to do something about it. From out there on the moon, international politics looks so petty." In December 1972, the crew of Apollo 17 was headed toward the moon. They looked back and saw the Earth, not as a map with lines, but as a single glowing sphere. They took a photo that became known as the blue marble. To understand why this matters, you have to realize that before this, most photos of Earth were in shadow or only showed a small crescent. This was the first time we saw our home fully illuminated, hanging in the absolute blackness of space. The concept. The overview effect. In this department, we study a psychological shift called the overview effect. This term was coined by author Frank White to describe a cognitive shift reported by almost every astronaut who has left our atmosphere. When you are on the ground, your brain is wired for local survival. You see your street, your city, your country. But from space, astronauts experience an intense, big picture realization. They see that the Earth is a closed system. They see the skin of the atmosphere, which is terrifyingly thin, about the thickness of a coat of varnish on a globe. This creates an overwhelming sense of protection and a realization that nationalism is a biological impossibility in a vacuum. You realize we are all riding on the same life support system. The history, the 1963 Hotline Agreement. You might wonder how this space view applies to peace on the ground. We find the answer in the Hotline Agreement of June 20th, 1963. Following the Cuban Missile Crisis, a moment where the world came into minutes of nuclear destruction, the leaders of the United States and the Soviet Union realized they were trapped in a communication gap. They were relying on slow telegrams and public radio broadcasts. There was no way to talk instantly to the other side. The hotline was a direct telecommunications link established between the Pentagon and the Kremlin. It wasn't actually a red phone. It was a teletype system meant to send encrypted text. Its purpose was the Understars ideal of transparency. It allowed leaders to bypass the shadows of misunderstanding and see the same facts at the same time. It was the first structural safety switch for the planet. The thesis, the vulnerable whole. The lesson for today is that vulnerability is our greatest connector. When we look at the blue marble, we see that there is no backup planet. In 1963, when leaders signed the Hotline Agreement, they weren't doing it because they liked each other. They did it because they finally shared the high view. They realized that a fire in one room of a submarine eventually kills everyone on board. The blue marble isn't just a pretty picture. It's a photograph of the only home we have. Your homework. 1. Interrupt your routine to look up the blue marble photo and look at it for 60 seconds, noticing the lack of borders. 2. Write down one question you have after this episode or doing homework number 1. If no question comes to mind, just write "no question." 3. Optional. Journal about the idea of the atmosphere as a thin coat of varnish. How does that change your feeling of safety? Until our next lesson, keep your eyes on the Understars. Class dismissed. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to support the Pieces Here podcast, the most helpful way is to follow it wherever you're listening. It helps share the message with others. You can also support this piecework at my Patreon for $4 a month, about what a used paperback goes for these days. Just go to Patreon at patreon.com/Avis Kalfsbeck. That's AVISKALFSBEEK. My most recent book is Mana Mutante, a best friend eco-fiction novella about food systems, featuring Tilly, Camas, Pedro, and the rest of the gang. It's book 6 in the Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet series and is available wherever you buy books. You can find all of my peace projects and stay in touch at aviskalfsbeck.com. Music is by Javier Peque Rodriguez. Sound effects are from Pixabay. Regarding peace, we need not delay or despair. We are not late. We are right on time to love. We are all scholars of peace. Listen for the peace.